Hello students, I think you have been following my video lectures on different subjects and different topics. In financial management, the working capital management basics, that is concept, importance, definitions, everything we have explained in my other video. Today we will be discussing with the help of an example the operating cycle period. You see, operating cycle period is nothing but what we have been doing for working capital calculation, current assets minus current liabilities. That means, again we are repeating that whatever period we are holding our working capital in your stock, debtors and other items, at the same time whatever credit period we are enjoying from our creditors and others. So this net of things, your working capital, this will be the difference between the debtors, what debtors and others we are allowing the credit period or holding the stock, minus your credit period allowed by your creditors, that is your net operating cycle period. You see that why this importance of net working cycle period? You see, based upon your net operating cycle period, you will be able to calculate your working capital requirement. Now we will be discussing with this problem. What is this thing? Problem: following information has been extracted from the books of ABS Limited. What is their raw material? 1/4/2021 and 31st/3/2022. That is for two period. That is opening date and closing date. Raw material opening balance, it was your these things 1 lakh and closing it was yours 70,000. Work in progress similarly 1,40,000 and 2 lakhs. Finished goods also 2,30,000 and your 2,70,000. Average receivables your 1,10,000. Average payables your 3,14,000. Purchases were your 15,70,000. Wages and overhead 17,50,000 and selling expenses 3,20,000. And total sales for the year is euro for 42 lakhs. Now you have been given all purchases and sales are on credit basis. You remember that. If it is cash basis is there is no holding of your working capital. So since if it is credit basis, then both the places, your purchase stage and sales stage, both stages, your credit holding will be there. Company is willing to know net operating cycle period, amount of working capital requirement assuming 360 days of a year. As you have been explaining before starting the question, what is the operating cycle that we understand? So we will be discussing your net operating capital and your working capital requirement. These portions we can erase it. There will not be any problem. Other informations will be sufficient enough to solve your this problem. You see that first you understand that under solution, operating cycle. Operating cycle, you see that R denotes your raw materials, storage period that you have to calculate, right? Raw material storage period R. Then your W stands for your work in progress, WIP holding period. See, Since your raw material you are to storage, immediately you cannot utilize. Some generally how much period we have to hold the raw material store, that period you have to calculate. Similarly, working process also holding period you have to calculate. Number 3, your finished goods. Finished goods storage period. Then D equal to your debtors collection period. And your C equal to your credit period availed. You see, this is the thing here. If you see your this working capital, net working capital calculations, this is your up to that your gross working capital, raw material, WIP, finished goods, debtors, and your C equal to your liabilities. So net of that your work operating cycle. So operating cycle then will be, formula will be R, here also fund blocked, plus W plus F plus D minus C. That will be your net operating cycle. You understand that? How long your fund have been blocked in 4 different stages: raw materials, WIP, finished goods and debtors. From those period you have to reduce credit period availed from your creditors. So that will be your net operating cycle. So before this formula is enough, we can erase this part, net operating cycle. Now we have to calculate one by one these things. We have to do this way. So first thing, what we have been doing this problem, your raw material storage period, these are raw material storage period, that is R, what we have been discussing first. This formula is, you have to remember, average stock of raw material divided by average cost of raw material consumption per day. Then average stock of raw material, how you will be getting for these things? So your opening stock and closing stock of raw material, you have to take an average. So you have been given here in your problem, opening stock your raw material 1 lakh and closing stock is 70,000. So then average stock of raw material will be your 1 lakh plus 70,000 divided by 2. This average comes. Now divided by average cost of raw material consumptions per day. Then for this calculations part, directly you have not, as you have been given these figures directly, but here figures have not been given directly. You have to raw material consumptions, first of all you have to calculate. Raw materials consumption. So raw material consumptions, how will we knowing? Opening raw material plus purchases minus closing raw material, right? Very simple. Raw materials cost of materials consumed, what we have understood in our cost sheet, same thing it is here only. So opening raw material your 1 lakh, then purchases during the year, it is your, you have been given no purchases 15,70,000, 15,70,000, and minus closing raw materials will be your 70,000. So this will be coming your 16 lakhs, right? So this is your raw material consumptions. You got it? There you have to per day. That means if it is your annual raw material consumption, simply that should be divided by 360. As we have taken number of days for simplicity for a year, it is 360 days. So this figure will put here, that is 16 lakhs divided by 360. So if you solve these things, here figure will be coming your 19 days. So then your R equal to 19. You can put it one by one this figure. One by one these figures will come. You will put these things in our formula. So your raw material stock period R has found out that 19 days. So that we can remove it. So 19 days your raw material storage period, you got it. So now next is your work in progress holding period, WIP holding period you have to calculate. What is the WIP holding period calculation formula? Average stock of WIP by average cost of production. Simply you have to memorize this formula, average cost of production per day. So from this figure we will be giving the average stock of WIP. You see that WIP average stock calculation is not a problem. Your opening WIP is 1,40,000, closing is 2 lakhs. So this will be 1,40,000 plus 2 lakhs divided by 2. So that is average portion has come. Now you have to calculate that average cost of productions. You see that your cost of productions has not been given in your problem. So cost of productions you have to calculate. So what is that calculations? Cost of production, raw material consumed plus wages and overhead plus opening WIP minus closing WIP. So this figure will be your raw material consumed, we have calculated earlier stage. This will be your 16 lakhs, right? Plus wages and overhead your 17 lakh 50,000. From here this figure given 17 lakh 50,000 plus your opening WIP your 1,40,000 minus closing WIP your these things 2 lakhs. So these figures will come your 32 lakhs 90,000. 32 lakhs 90,000. So this is your cost of productions. You know that raw material consumed plus wages and overhead, opening W. Simply you understand, if you remember, if your cost sheet same way you will be calculating here. So this calculations has some relations with your cash sheet calculation, that is cost of productions, your raw material consumed plus wages overhead plus opening WIP minus closing WIP. So then your cost of productions comes your 32,90,000. So then this formula will be doing for this thing. So cost of production per day. So simple, 32,90,000 divided by 360. Per day calculations will come. So this will be also, it will be coming your 19 days if you solve it. So here your WIP holding period is the W. So you got that W also. Whatever formula wise W also we got it. So 19 plus 19. So 2 steps calculations we have completed. Now we'll be going for your third step calculations. What do you understand that? That is your finished goods storage period. If your finished goods storage period. What is that formula? Finished goods storage from average stock of finished goods by your average cost of goods sold per day. See, very simple thing. You can easily relate to your cost sheet, your cost accounting starting part. So definitely it will be linked with that. So first we have to do the average stock of finished goods. You see that you do have finished goods opening and closing. So average will not be problem here. You see that opening stock your 2,30,000 plus your closing is 2,70,000 divided by 2 average divided by average cost of goods sold. You see that cost of goods sold have not been given. So you have to calculate your cost of goods sold. See, in our cost sheet, how we understand that cost of goods sold? Then cost of production, whatever figure will be, we have calculated. With that, you have to opening finished goods, you have to add it, minus closing finished goods, you have to minus finished goods. Okay. So your cost of productions, as you have calculated in our earlier calculation, 32,90,000 plus 2,30,000 your opening stock minus your closing stock is your 2,70,000 as you are getting from here. So this net figure is coming here 32,50,000. So this your cost of goods sold now comes your 32,50,000. So what is that average cost of 32,50,000 per day? Simple, 360 days you calculate it. Then if you solve these things, it will come here your 28 days, right? So then you got it your third figure, that is your finished goods holding finished goods storage period. If that becomes your 28 days. So we will add here 28. Finished goods part is complete. Your third portions has been completed. So now we will be going for your 4-stage calculations. These calculations you have to formula, you have to kiss these things. Now you have to calculate your D. D is nothing but debtors collections period. Debtors collections period. that is how long you have allowed credit period to your debtors, that means to whom you have sold the materials on credit. So what is that? A debtors collections period formula is average book dates by average credit sales per day. So you understand that average book dates, how you will be calculating for that? Average book dates, you see that average book dates have been given or not in your these things, in your calculations way. From here you will be getting any figures, average book dates, your debtors positions is there or not. So average book dates is coming your 2,10,000 by your average credit sales per day. So you have been given sales here your 42 lakhs by 360 days. So if you solve these things, your debtors collections period comes here 18 days. So you got that this your D also you got it plus your 18 days, right? So debtors collections period you got it. Now we will be going for these things. Your last one, that is your C. Which is that C? C equal to your credit period allowed. Credit period availed. Here formula is average trade creditors average trade creditors divided by your average credit purchases per day. You know that your average trade creditors becomes your 3,14,000 3,14,000 by your these things average credit purchases. Your purchases becomes your 15,70,000 15,70,000 by 360. So your figure comes your this 72 days. So you got that your that 72 days you have availed from your creditors. So that C, you once you got it, that will be your this year to minus your C, that is 72 days. So your net operating cycle will be your 12 days, and it will be your 12 days. See, earlier calculations when we did it, that is debtors collections period, average receivables we have written no 2,10,000. So that is the thing only. Average receivables means 2,10,000, not 1,10,000. That was a written mistake. So now you got it that your 12 days, how got it? So this is your net operating cycle, you got it. Your how much holding your raw materials, WIP, finished goods and debtors, and how many days you got your credit period from your creditor, 72 days. Net operating cycle is your 12 days. So that first part is over. Number 2, you have to calculate amount of working capital required. That means how much you do require working capital. So then your working capital calculations, how it comes? Here formula also, annual cost of sales divided by 360 into operating cycle period. So annual cost of sales, you understand that earlier calculations we have calculated. Cost of sales, your annual 35,70,000 divided by 360 into 12 your operating cycle period. So this will be your rupees 1,19,000. So here you understand that your cost of sales, you got it that will be equal to cost of goods sold plus selling expenses. So cost of goods sold you have been given, no, your 32,50,000 as we have calculated earlier, plus your selling expenses 3,20,000. So your 35,70,000 it will be there. So this is the working capital. You see, now annual cost of sales divided by 360 means per day cost of sales. So per day cost of sales multiplied by operating cycle period means whatever you have enjoyed the credit period from your creditors, if you net period you multiplied that is the net working capital, is the requirement for your business operation purpose. So this is the thing for today's discussions. All those way, your net operating cycle period calculations is very much important for your actual calculations of working capital. So these calculations concept always you have to keep in mind. If you take the revisions from your cost of goods sold, cost sheet, what is that? Raw materials consumed, then your prime cost, then your cost of production, then your cost of goods sold. This stage, if you keep in memory, these calculations will be little bit easier. So if you see that my discussions have some value and some conceptual development is there, please do like, share, and at the same time I will request to subscribe to my channel so that whatever new videos will come, it will be getting directly. I think it will be some beneficial for your exam purpose. आज के लिए इतना तक. Have a good day.